they go and get the NRC.
Sorry
Yes.
to before I cut off your last comment.
Yes,
Good morning. We have a caller. Good morning. It's a Diamond Breakfast.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Please go ahead with your contribution.
I want to disagree with the gentleman there.
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yes, I want to disagree with him, especially on the regalia and on the violence. On the regalia, it is the government, not political parties, to sit down. The government will come on SI and say, this is Zambia, we are campaigning on the Zambian flag. So everybody uses the Zambian regalia. That's regardless who you are. That is the government to put it straight. One. Then again, when it comes to violence, it is the government, not the political party, to sit down. The government to put things in their right perspective and say, we don't need violence. The people who bring violence, it is the government itself as it is defending itself, because we are seeing it. When you go throughout the market, it is only the PF with rebellions. Any other political party is not allowed, which means the government, it is the one now agitating for violence, especially on the regalia, on voters' problem. It is still the government, because the government chooses the electoral commission. And the commission cannot, and the government cannot remove itself from the context. When they are contesting elections, the government can, even though it provokes other people, it cannot remove itself. It cannot ban itself. So the issue, it is the government to be real and be able to say, here we must be real. Share to that, all these things, the opposition, other people cannot make any law which can ban regalia or anything. They cannot contribute because that program, it is entirely on the government. So the government is to blame why people are fighting. Government is to blame because of the violence. Because it's only the government which is in power, which has the instrument and every right to stop any nonsense in the country, not a political party. That's far from it. So let us ask the government to be real so that it can ban all this nonsense, and they won't come. But if you say, let the opposition party come and contribute, what do they contribute to the government which has put its laws? So I think that is my take on that one.
Thank you so much for your contribution. All right, so we're still taking your calls on the number on the screen. We're speaking to People Initiative Charter Chairperson, Mr. Cleophas Phiri, and we're discussing electoral violence. We're discussing political regalia. Should it be banned so that it might be one of the catalysts to why there is electoral violence in the country? Because if you're seen wearing regalia for a party you don't belong to, you are a threat to the other party. And we've seen these incidences. Even a lady who was visited by opposition leader, UPND, Hakainde Hichilema, president, and she visited that lady, and the next day her stand was gone. This is in the public domain. And we have seen incidences where both the ruling and opposition political parties have had, butted heads together because of being in different political parties, and they'll tear each other's regalia. So maybe there shouldn't be people wearing regalia, Mr. P, so that nobody knows that this person is UPND, this is PF, this is UNIP, or FDD.
in fact, the whole essence of regalia is identification. A nurse is in a regalia, a policeman is in a regalia. So every industry has got its own regalia. So the issues that I hear, why I continue insisting that there's need, because we need to coexist as a country. We need to sit down together and agree on a roadmap. You cannot state that it's only a role of the government. Yes, it is a role of the government to facilitate.
Sorry to cut short. Good morning.
Good morning, madam. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, I think this program is just it is a very good program. It will help, but I would like Batman to also consider the issue of electoral the ECZ. They are supposed to be on the ground, and that is the only institution and organization which can bring everything, put sanity in everything. They are supposed to be independent. They are not supposed to be like, doing favoritism and the like. It's like they are not doing their job. They are not, advising people, political parties according to what they are supposed to do. That's the reason why you see all these violences. When you look during Manawasa's regime and Sata himself, there was these cadres which you see around. They were there, but they are not all that, influential like compared to this time around. Police officers, they have got nothing to do with the cadres. So the main factor, the people who are contributing to all these things which are expressing this time around, the ECZ. There is no another person, no another organization, no another political party to point out. No. So we should stay away from that. The only organization which can put sanity in this, it is the ECZ. Let them perform, do their work nicely. Then we shall have peace in this country. Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much. So everybody obviously has somebody that they are pointing to say we feel this is it's a blame game. Yes. But you still insist that the political regalia should be won, and we should coexist. So of course we have to coexist.
We need to coexist, and like the caller has rightly put it, that's why I emphasize that ECZ has got to put its house in order, and also I think the other player is the police. That is why you can only resolve these matters under an INSAC and discuss as men and women of equal standing. To state that Fikasova Kuntansh, these are results that we're having. But if ECZ, the police, the politicians can sit down and agree on how they're going to conduct themselves during elections, we will avoid all these things.
There was a video that was circulating yesterday, and
yes.
It came through on the weekend. There was a cadre who was wearing Patriotic Front party regalia, and he was dressed like a Mossad. And his
Mossad, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
everything was covered.
Yes.
And you could clearly see that this is a Patriotic Front cadre,
yes.
and obviously he was, hyping himself up
yes.
to his party. Now, if that was banned, to say, do not wear party regalia, that gentleman would maybe not have done that stunt.
Oh, but probably it's the mindset. Because with or without regalia, they still fight. They've continued fighting, punch for punch. And the regalia doesn't stop them. So it is an issue of how do we become tolerant? How do we coexist? Like I rightly said, this violence only comes in the by-elections. When there are no by-elections, the UPND, the PF, the FDD, the MMD, they coexist. And they meet in bars and they talk the handshakes. When there is a vote at play, the issue of one Zambia, one nation just dies off. But what's necessitating this problem is not having a leveled playing field. The moment people begin to feel that others have an upper hand, you begin to have all these concerns. That is why people are taking it upon themselves to begin to police the situation as opposed to running to ECZ and the police themselves.
Hi, good morning. Do you have a caller?
Good morning, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Please go ahead with your contribution and question.
Yes. My contribution is party regalia. There is nothing to do with the violence. What it is the PF. They are the causes of those violence, because it is the party which is in power. They are the one who controls everything. So they are causes of everything. So there is nothing we are saying, whether they are wearing the guardia, they must do what they are supposed to do.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So obviously we're seeing a trend here, like, all right, everybody's sort of agreeing that, okay, no regalia, and it's just an issue of or pointing fingers, inter-dialogue, and I don't know if we are going to have a national inter-dialogue between the biggest political parties.
Yes.
If that doesn't happen, because obviously this hasn't been concluded before, that you have, even the other parties have to be included. I mean,
Yes,
you can't just
definitely.
say
No,
they're just
definitely.
Patriotic Front and
Definitely,
UPND.
yes.
Do you think that there would ever be this inter-party dialogue that will ever be concluded, and with the main players being there, the Patriotic Front, UPND, and of course we'll have FDD,
Yes.
PAC, and all these other parties that are coming up. Do you think that that conclusion would ever come?
Well, first, I think that it's incumbent upon the church, the mother bodies, and government itself to see to it that this tension, is reduced at all costs. And because violence begets violence, and violence is blind, doesn't see whether you're an aunt, you're an uncle, it can befall anybody. So it is my hope, and we're going to begin to approach the relevant authorities from the opposition government to say there's need for the interested parties to sit down and agree on how they're going to move. It's been done. Almost every government has done it. It's been done before. In the MMD, President Michael Sata was always in the forefront of trying to bring and to reduce this tension. And I think it can be done because the season we're in and the way this electoral violence is coming up almost at every turn, there's need for us to find a recipe that is going to create an enabling environment for people to come out and vote, enabling environment that's going to create peace and unity in the country. So therefore, I hope that there is going to be an endeavor where people can sit, agree, disagree, and find a way forward.
And finally, I think, and I don't know what your opinion on this will be,
Yes.
is that one of these days at a by-election level, one of the political parties should be banned by ECZ for political violence. I think that will send out a strong message.
Precisely. That's why I said that from time immemorial, ECZ has enormous powers from the time it's constituted. But I think that they've taken a laissez-faire attitude until they begin to use the powers that are vested in them and state that this cannot be done. Yes, there's an electoral code of conduct that everybody follows. But what punitive measures has ECZ ever muted on anybody? It always goes with a warning. It's a warning, it's a warning, it's a warning, it's a warning. And therefore now, the police have usurped the role of ECZ. And we see the police telling to arrest people wantonly and causing division in the country. So for me, I think that it is prudent that ECZ calls the players together, they agree on how they want to conduct themselves, how they're going to coexist, and we'll move forward.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Mr. Phiri, for coming through to the Diamond Breakfast. I'm sure we'll have more conversations as we go up to drum up to general elections.
Absolutely, yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sue.
All right. So I was speaking to PIC chairperson, Mr. Cleophas Phiri, and we were discussing the issue of political party regalia. Should it be banned? Is it the catalyst to political violence, and which, of course, should be fair towards electoral violence? But obviously, there is more than meets the eye when it comes to the violence that always erupts when we're going towards a by-election or a general election. Still coming up on the Diamond Breakfast, we take a look at our social trends. What's been trending on social media? Not forgetting that we'll be getting into our Good Morning Z, and of course not forgetting that we need to know what's on your mind.